to Boil the Frog. I'm Dennis McVicker, the author of Boil the Frog. Um, I recently watched one of my videos and I basically just sat there for the first 20 seconds or so, and it was like, say something, man. So I'm going to do a little intro from now on. I don't know, to get things going, I guess. A few topics today. I actually wanted to talk about Boil the Frog itself today because everybody, well, not everybody, people ask me what Boil the Frog is about. And another author, as an author, you usually get, you know, links and pages to other authors' pages, and you'll see what they're going through and talking about writing and trying to market writing and doing things. Was I always want to get it straight, so that's why I pause, and that's why I do little mental gathering of my thoughts to just say what I really want to say. Because, like I said, I'm not comfortable doing this live. So, and this is all live. So, if you want to have snarky comments about my live performance, go for it. Irregardlessly, one of the guys posted, writes, it was a meme, and it was like, writes 100,000 word book, and then it says, like, literary agent, explain it to me in a couple sentences. And that's what it's like to be a writer, is like, you have all these things to say, so you write it all down in a book, and then people are like, well, summarize it. Like, no. It's like, I wrote it in the book. Every word I wrote in the book is relevant. So I can't sum it up in a couple sentences. I mean, I can genre it into a category, that I pick. Weight loss is the best way to market the book, but that's not what it's really about. It's about mental clarity. Part of the book, I talk about walking tactics and when you should start walking. You should start walking with no phone. I mean, take your phone for emergencies, but keep it in your pocket. Don't. I swear, if I see another one of you guys out there, like, just chatting on your phone going like half a mile an hour, and it's like, what are you even doing? What are you even doing out there? You're not exercising, you're socializing. So the point of the first few weeks, at least, if not longer, as long as it takes to get it where you understand that you're going to walk by yourself in the world, not on a treadmill, out in the world by yourself, no phone, no distractions, no music. That will get you inside your head. And that's when you really start to fix yourself. And I want to point out something. I wrote her name down to make a point of this, but I was talking about men's mental health, and Stephanie Austin Baker commented on one, is I feel exact same way as a woman, how you describe. Like, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm just not going to speak. If you can't be respected and listen to me. So I want to broaden it to all health, not just men's mental health, but everybody's mental health is important. And that's what the walking by yourself is about. Is every day we are bombarded by distractions. It is a major business to keep us distracted. And that's where your phone has been the primary tool of doing now. is to keep you distracted. And the point of walking by yourself, no distractions, there is no escape from your reality. You will get inside your head. That's when you walk through the past. That's when you be in the present to visit the past and understand why you are the way you are. But the primary goal to walking without headphones and without any distraction, man, is to find out who you are. That's the real goal of Boil the Frog, is to find who you are. And I guarantee where you're not is where you are right now. And if you need this book, if you're out there making it happen, yeah, you're finding out who you are. But until you get out there and start looking, you're never going to find yourself. And that's not only like for walking, not only for mental clarity, it's to cleanse everything. Like you everything's a frequency, everything's a vibration. I mean, even in cinematics, it's basically like they put like salt or some visible reference on a sheet of metal, and then they vibrate it and it makes patterns. So your energy creates the patterns around you. And that's the kind of thing you're looking for out there is, who the hell am I? I have a gun to my head, like what would I want to do? Like what am I really good at that I could not even really good at? Like what am I really passionate about that I would want to do if I could do anything? And that's what you're looking for out there. And then just keep asking yourself that question, and eventually you will get an answer. And it could be multiple things. It could be multiple things. But you got to go out there and look for it. Otherwise, you're never going to find it. And that's why I don't want you to walk with anybody for a couple weeks or have any distractions. You need to be in your head. Like all these distractions are keeping us out of our head. And that just keeps you exactly where you are right now. And if that's not where you want to be, that's the point of going out and look for it. Boil the Frog. That's why one of my promo videos was, what is Boil the Frog about? And it was like, most people think it's just about weight loss. And it's like, I make the reference to the movie Limitless. It's about mentally clearing away everything else that's distracting you from becoming who you're supposed to be. And then just kind of like, I call it mental weeding, like clean out the weeds from your vision, and then your path forward is going to be clear. And that's what the walking, they call it walking naked. That means no electronics. I saw a post about that one time. It was like, so I kept seeing these posts about running naked, and apparently that means just running without any electronics. It's like, well, I know that now, thanks to my visit with the police. But but walking naked, just no distractions, that will start getting you to the mental clarity you need to be. And back to the Limitless reference, is like he took that pill, and it just made him see everything clearly. And then he just looked around, and then he saw his apartment was just a pigsty, and he's like, well, what am I doing? Like, and he just looked around, and the first thing he did when his mind was clear was to clean his entire house, was to get his act together. And that's why I made that reference in the book, because it was so dead on. Like that's exactly what happens when you really start thinking about, like, what am I doing? And then you look around, you're like, what am I doing? And then it starts to become clear. I know one people will always leave negative reviews, but one person got really upset about me saying, well, if you do this, then you're probably a loser. And then they were like, he calls you a loser the whole time. And I mean, the third topic I'm going to talk about is your choice, but that's your choice to think that way. In regards to Boil the Frog, can I sum it up in a couple sentences? No, I can't sum it up in a couple sentences. It's a book. If it was summed up in a couple sentences, it wouldn't be a very interesting book. So you need to read the whole thing. Unfortunately, you got to put in some effort. If you're not willing to read the book, then you're not willing to take control of your life, you know? That's my point about the audiobook and people quitting on it. It's like in 4 hours and 45 minutes, people wrote that this book changed their life. And that alone, the multiple reviews where people said this book is life changing. I'm like, you don't know what that means to an author. That is so awesome that people got it, and then they were like, this book changed my life. And I was like, that was sweet. That was worth every bit of it. That was awesome. Thanks for that, and I'm glad I helped you. Spilled beer on my notes. Let's just cancel the show. That's so some people are. Any excuse. Well, I'm done. This is too hard. I'll cancel the show. I spilled beer on my checklist. Which that turns out to be a segue. The checklist. I have been hearing, all right. I know it was one of the recent, it was either episode 6 or 7. I kind of make fun of all these shows talking about men and women, but I have a topic. It's about men and women only because it's something that needs to be said. I've read, no, not read. I've been watching reels lately, and almost every other reel is some podcast where men and women are arguing about this checklist that that women have now when they're looking for somebody else. And most men are just like, the women ask the men, is like, well, don't you have a checklist? And it's like, no. No, we don't have a. I mean, I'm sure some men do. I mean, if they got super high standards, I'm sure they got a bunch of checklists. But the point being, these women, I I wanted to call it the woman's checklist, but I wanted to be neutral. But what I'm hearing is it's from the women's side, is they have this checklist. Like, I'm looking for a man. He's got to be 6 foot tall. He's got to make 100 grand a year. He's got to do this. He's got to treat me like a queen. And I'm like, so you're asking for a king to apply to be your king. And a king would never do that. He just wouldn't. So the person you're looking for is going to walk you out the door because you're not going to live up to his standard. And it's just something I keep seeing is this woman's checklist. And they got this preconceived notion of the man they're going to end up with. And it's like, well, if you have all these qualifications, this man, I think on whatever, again, they went through and it's like, okay, the person you're describing is the top 1%. on the planet. Like, how many of those guys do you think there are? There's not that many guys. Top 1% of guys is who almost every woman is describing as, I want this as my man is going to do this, my man is going to do that. And like I said, these women are looking for a king to treat him like a queen, and they're treating him like a jester. So the results they're getting is exactly what you expected. They have these super high standards that they're not willing to live up to themselves. In fact, I saw a guy, I don't know his name. I saw it on a reel again. But it was an older guy, like me. But he was saying, I will show you how to find the perfect husband. And it's write everything you want about that husband in a checklist. And then become that person on the paper. Because when you want to be a millionaire, you have to be worth $1 million. And it will just come to you. And that's what I hate to point fingers, but that's kind of the point, is these women have these impossible standards checklists that they expect men to live up to in the conventional roles, but they're not willing to play the conventional role. So all the rewards they want, they're not willing to work for. They only want the rewards. They don't want the work. I remember Ice Cube said something pretty damn deep. He said, don't complain about what you didn't get for the work you didn't put in. And that's, I wish I could have that just on auto comment for when these ladies have this impossible standard to live up to in a man, and they couldn't live up to that list either. So you are what you attract, and you attract from what you are. So if you're reaching for the sky, you better be up there able to breathe with him, because if you're not, he's not going to take you with him. Like, well, you can't breathe up here. You can't hang, you can't hang up here. So don't come up here. Kings don't apply for a job. They tell you what they're going to do. So you come up with these, well, my man's got to do this, my man's got to do that. Well, good luck. That's what I wanted to say. Stop asking to be treated like a queen if you treat the man like a jester. Treat him like a king, he's going to treat you like a queen. Promise you that. But you got to be able to handle your own stuff. You got to be able to handle the fact that he's going to be emotionally intelligent. And that doesn't mean he's just emotional. He means he's in control of his emotions. And he expects you to be. He doesn't expect you to get set off as the slightest little thing. He expects you to be a queen and be in the spotlight with him and handle yourself. And most women who want those checklists aren't able to do that. We will walk you to the door. Teddy Swims, The Door. He wrote a song about it. Love it. That is my favorite song right now. Teddy Swims, The Door. Super fun. Fun to sing. I'm almost out of beer, so I gotta wrap it up. I skipped the your choice part. Let's get talking. Let's talk about it now. Your choice. The third topic, your choice, was. I had a different topic. It's kind of far out. I wanted to do a far out episode. I think I'll do it next. And it was about parallel universes. Anyway, so I switched it to your choice. I was like, I'm gonna do all the weird topics all in one show. So that's gonna be fun, because that's part of what you do in getting your shit together. Like, get your shit together, Summer. Roll it up in a backpack. Yeah, Morty, Rick and Morty. Anyway, your choice about how you react to everything. If you let other people control your emotions by what they do, then you're controllable. It's always your choice how to react. Words have exactly the power you give them. If you just shake it off, it didn't mean anything. That's your choice. Like someone could say something to upset you. And most people that want to upset you are stopped in their tracks by the phrase, "What did you mean by that?" Make them repeat it. Make them explain themselves. 'Cause once they start explaining what they meant to make you feel like crap, they start feeling like crap. So whenever somebody says something to you deliberately, try to upsetting you. Apparently, I found my limit for live shows. No more. I can't talk anymore. So it's kind of like when people get offended by things, especially people that are offended for other people. It's like, so you're offended for someone else. Why? I don't know. That's the whole your choice thing. Like it's your choice how to react to everything. If you're offended, you know, here's what most people seem to not understand is yes, you absolutely have the right to be offended. But here's what the second part is everybody else has the absolute right not to give a shit about it. Like that's your problem. That's your trigger. That's your responsibility. It's not everybody else's. Your problems don't become everybody else's problems just because you want them to be. That's your choice to be offended. And I do not choose to participate in your anger. If you're angry at me, I'm probably not angry at you. So that's your choice to be angry. It doesn't affect one thing about what I'm doing, though. You can be angry about what I say, you can be offended by what I say. That's your choice. I'm just telling you my version of the truth. So if people get offended by that, it's like, well, you know, who's that little kid in the backseat? Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. She's like a 2-year-old kid trying to fasten her seatbelt. That's what your choice is really about. Is words have the power you give them. You can let it roll off your back. You can erupt. You can make it ruin your day. And by the way, your choice is always your choice. Like, I've heard people at 8 in the morning say it's just one of those days. And it's like, your day just started. So it's something inconvenient happened in the morning and your day is ruined. That's probably the most ridiculous thing you can think. There's like you're awake 16 hours a day. Most people. I mean, I think I'm awake like 18 hours a day. But you're going to let a few seconds or a few minutes soil the rest of your day. That is your choice. You are making that choice to let that ruin your whole day. One little instance. It's like, you know what? Whatever. Forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah, I'm not from New York. I can't do that. Well, I'm officially out of beer, and this show's pretty long anyway. So I'm gonna sign off. Um, if you guys want me to talk about any, I told you to reach my limit. Any other topics? Send me a comment in the video or send me a message. As always, Thanks for hanging out with me. Probably only Jen as far as my viewership. But I hope you guys are getting some out of these videos. I'll keep making them. Like I said this morning, I was kind of changed my mindset about Boil the Frog, and I already consider it a success. I remember the first one I ever saw. It was by a guy named, I hope I'm saying it right. It was a while. I haven't looked in a while. But I think his name was David Garcia. And he left a review, and he was like, I have been living my life for me since I read this book, and this book changed my life. And I got pretty emotional about it. Like, that's the finish line right there. That made everything worth it. It was awesome. But I'm grateful for that. So I'm about to cry, so I'm leaving. Bye.